This one isn't as zippy as I'd hoped.
All right, well, we'll do some research.
We'll
I feel like
figure
I should be doing yoga now. I really should. I'd be stretching.
We probably all need yoga now.
Oh, God, yeah, especially after last week.
They have beer yoga.
So, hello, everybody. This
I
is
saw
your
that in London.
your host, Chris, and this is another round of Monkey Business. In the studio with me, as always, is the irrepressible Billy DeTore.
Hello.
The irrepressible, maybe not nearly as repressed as we were accusing her of, but still, okay, there's the finger again. Yes, hello, Tanya Metris, and with me, as always, Ray King and Dolly. Hello, Dolly. It's hello. We're going to do that every time now. You need to know that. On the phone with us,
A
new voice in the crowd, and with us, my dear friend Cheri Elbersky from the deep regions of what was it? It's Rome. We're in Rome.
Utica.
Utica.
In
Clinton.
In Utica, where when in Rome you do as the Romans do, but you're not in Rome anymore, so that works.
Nope.
Cheri and I have been friends for a very, very long time, and as Cheri will have you, we'll tell you the anecdote some other time. But Cheri's actually my first wife, but not legally. Anyway, it's more of an in joke than anything else.
Back in medieval times, it was.
Back in medieval times, apparently, when you share chocolate, you're married, and that'll explain why the
You've
church kind of
married a lot,
regulated.
then.
I've gotten married a lot over the years. I'm like, what is that?
Taylor?
What's that?
Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah, Elizabeth Taylor. Thank you, Dolly. All right, so
Christopher Taylor.
yeah, Chris. Well, you know what? That's
Air
got a nice
high
ring
five
to
for
it.
you, Dolly.
I think you just came up with a new pen name for me.
Christopher Taylor.
See, when I finally start publishing books, it'll be under Christopher Taylor now.
Okay.
I'm gonna see. I'm writing that
I
down.
get royalties.
No, you don't. You'll be my agent for the booking tours. Anyway, book signings. All right, so
50%.
gang, the reason that I'm having Cheri call in is one, she's awesome. That's like the main reason, and she's always got a great opinion on things.
she has opinion on everything.
She's got an opinion on everything, and she's not afraid to share it.
Usually not.
And since you've been listening to our podcasts, what was it you were just telling us? You were telling us a quick anecdote before we started recording.
Okay, well, what I was saying was that I listen to several podcasts, and I'm very big on them. I listen to them all the time. But this podcast is the only one that I actually talk back to.
I think that's fantastic. So here we are.
Out loud, my family thinks I'm crazy. And to add to this whole crazy woman motif that I've got going on with your podcast, I was listening to it while I was in Walmart today and talking. And
See, now that actually fits in with the Walmart.
Nobody knew I was listening to something. I was just randomly going, "Are you kidding me? What? No." Yeah,
See,
I'm developing quite the reputation.
It's good to know someone else has visceral reactions to podcasts because I have a couple that just make me laugh out loud, and I take the bus to and from work or home from work. And there are times where I try and not laugh because I would look ridiculous sitting by myself laughing out loud. And so I'll try and hold it in. I just start shaking, and then eventually I laugh. I've actually had people move away from me.
That's great.
I call it my own form of Tourette's.
There you go.
Actually, in midway of writing, because I write my own comic,
Right.
I'll be listening to the podcast, and because it's so damn funny, I'm over here writing what you guys are saying.
Oh,
I'm
see?
like, ah, crap. That's not what that person was
We're not
supposed to say.
background noise at that point. We're actually, we're dictating at that stage. That's amazing. All right, so the first run, I wanted to give Cheri a chance I'm Cheri. I'm going to love having you on board if you want to give a regular call in every so often to abuse us. But
I just friended you.
awesome.
Tanya just friended you on Facebook. The long and the short of it is you have been very open about your opinions on some of the things we've said, and I love that because that gets the discussion going, and that's what I love. And I love it when people don't agree with me, but they do it respectfully. That's fantastic because then the discussion really kicks in, and then you learn something. Everybody gets to learn something, including me, who I've said on several occasions, usually at the beginning of podcasts or during panels at FC3 or whatever. I am not an expert. I'm just the guy who happened to be the one to stand up and say, I'm going to be the one to lead the talk about this. I've learned a lot in the past 3 years of doing this show. But I don't consider myself an expert in the field. So if somebody disagrees with me and you've got a good reason and you want to have a great conversation about it, I'm all in. And so Cheri, today is your day, honey. You are going to have your opportunity. The first topic we're going to go through is way back towards the end, I think it was right around Thanksgiving last year, we did a podcast about my personal top 10 favorite.
She probably has the date
sci-fi.
written down.
It's possible. She's good at research.
It was the beginning of February.
Oh, was it? Okay, so we recorded it
in November.
I think we recorded it in
like
November,
Okay.
December, and didn't get around to airing it until like the new year. But the long and the short of it, I had come up with my list of top 10 sci-fi movies that were my favorites, or for a variety of reasons.
You had to narrow it to 10.
I did. It was a hard list. I admit to this day that was a really hard list, and I don't even agree with some of my
Ray's
choices.
laughing right now.
It is. I don't even agree with some of my choices because I was just trying to do the best I could. And I think I spent like 12 hours compiling that list and wheedling it down and whatnot. So anyway,
I mean,
and
fair
then
enough. If you're a big fan of something, it's very hard
It
to just
is.
narrow.
It really
something
is.
down to 10.
And when I presented the list, Wayne was here and he'd made great comments, and you guys kind of picked apart and you added some things and whatnot. And so and then that conversation just kind of fell by the wayside. Now, Cheri has brought it back to the forefront, and she's been talking to me about it and mentioning it and this, that, and the other thing. She had a chance to come to town recently, and we got a chance to hang out, and we were chatting about it. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to give her a platform. I'm going to give her an opportunity. So, Cheri, I'm going to let you have the floor, honey. Grip it, and rip it, as they say in golf. And I want to hear what you got to say about this list.
I can't even remember the list.
Okay. Well, we'll go through it, and I'll just explain. Okay, first of all, I really sat down after you and I talked about me coming on today.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down, re-listened to it, and tried to figure out what I agreed with, what I disagreed with, and if I did disagree, why I disagreed with it.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
didn't want to just. I mean, I'm sorry. Your number 4, 2001. I just disagree with it because I think it's one of the most boring movies ever made.
And you know what? I agree. It's not an exciting. We're so used to explosions and action and adventure and tension and things like that. I picked 2001 because I felt, and I think I said this at the time in the podcast itself. I liked what it meant to the genre. It was something new. It was something different. It was something surreal. And had these great visuals, something that really had not, until that time in the 60s when it was produced, had really not been explored. So I thought it was an important movie in terms of what it meant to the industry at the time that it was produced. I didn't, my personal opinion is I agree with you. It's very slow. It's very methodical. It's very kind of
Makes no sense.
well, then there's the time, when you get to the montage at the end where it's kind of, it blows your head. You really should be probably on something or drinking something heavy at that point to really appreciate the.
I think the
I don't
director
think I've
was.
ever seen it.
Well, you know what? You're really not missing much, but I had
Except
added
for
it
like
to the
an
list
hour
because
and a half of
it's a couple hours.
Napfest.
Well, no, not really. I mean, like I said, there's a strong sense of visual and imagery and allegory and all. There's a lot of poetry to it in its own way if you look at it from a certain standpoint. I felt, like I said, it may not be a great film of all time, but it was an important film for what it's represented at the time it was produced. But anyway, carry on, Cheri. I'm not going to sit there and talk.
According to Cheri, it's not a good movie at all.
Well, there you go. There's that, and that's a valuable opinion too.
Okay, so for the ones that you had on your list, I'll just quickly go through the ones that I had no problem with that I think are fantastic also.
Groovy.
Fifth Element.
Okay.
Love it.
Yep.
Yes.
Love that movie. It's definitely one of my, it comes on the clicking stop.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Close Encounters, while not one of my favorite movies, it is an amazing film. It's not something that I would sit down and watch over and over again, but it is something that every sci-fi fan should watch at some point, at least once. It's definitely an important one.
I think I saw it on the Sci Fi channel.
Is that the one that's got the big mountain at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
I
couldn't
remember
tell you
now.
who's in
Yeah.
it.
And I will agree with you with the version of Time Machine that you chose. I
Okay.
prefer the remake.
Oh, I love that kind of
The most recent
validation.
one.
Yeah. What was it about that particular?
I really like that one.
What was it about that one that in particular that caught your attention?
I think it was in some. Okay, the earlier ones were more true to the actual text of the story in some ways, but I think that one was more true to the intent.
Okay.
The wonder of it. I mean, I don't need something when you're making something from another form, like a book or a play or something. I don't need it to be perfect. I need it to invoke the same emotions.
There we go.
And I think that one did that better than some of the earlier ones, which were a little too clinical for me.
You should have seen him
They were-
dancing in the studio just now.
I was doing a little jig.
He looked like one of those inflatable.
Yes.
yes, one of
things.
those.
He looked exactly
It's like one of those
it.
inflatable sticks that has the
He kind of
that
looked
weighs
like
around
the
in front of.
Spider-Man's, but like upward.
Yeah, I was doing the drunken giraffe, but it's all good. So, no, it's always good when somebody when you realize somebody is seeing something the same way you do. That's just kind of that was cool. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Kind of refreshing to always hear that somebody agrees with the remake more than the original.
I mean, I get Wayne's original point about the classic. I get it, and there's something to be said about the classic version. It's not a bad movie, but
No, it's a very good movie.
yeah, but me personally, when I compare one to the other, I'm going to go with the newer version because of that level of intent, rather than sticking to the the script, as it were. All right,
Absolutely.
I feel a butt coming on.
No, not yet.
Okay, good.
I have a couple more to say good things about.
All right.
Actually,
Yay.
can I go back real quickly to 2001
Absolutely.
because I've never seen 2001.
Okay.
I've never even
So
heard of it.
I googled American Film Institute, who is like the list masters of all great movies. According to them, it's the greatest science fiction movie of all time.
Wow.
Which I have no opinion
That
about.
is a movie for critics. That is a movie for directors.
Right.
That is a movie for visual arts. That is not a movie that
It's for
is
consumers.
really was meant for anybody but the people who made it and their buddies.
So, Cheri, we
in
can
my
boil it
opinion.
down to 2001: A Space Odyssey is basically an art piece.
Well, I
Pretty
can
much.
understand that. 'cause
Yeah,
as a
and you're a cinematographer, Dally.
I love the movie Citizen Kane, but like some of my younger friends who've tried to watch Citizen Kane, they're like, "This is boring. I don't understand it. Like, I don't see what the big deal is." But as cinematographer, that was the one movie that started a lot of the different type of camera angles, and he was an innovator in his way
Right.
with filmmaking. So I can understand like that aspect of loving a movie because of its like role in the in industry.
So, like I said, that boils down to why I put it on the list in the first place. Was not so much because it was this amazing, awesome, meaningful thing for all the ticket holders, but it was an important piece to how the industry approached the genre. So so that's cool.
It has
we can work
a lot
with
of
that.
high ratings.
It does have a lot of high. You know what? And I'm going to tell you something. In my personal opinion, I think it has a tremendous amount of high ratings because people were told to have the high ratings of it. We've people who claim to be experts like us here. We talk that movie up so much, and film teachers and artists and critics will say this is a great movie. So people will look at it and go, okay, 2001: Space Odyssey, great movie. Yeah, great. Yeah, we heard all about it. It's awesome, and I'll give it 5 stars, even though they may have seen half of the movie or maybe have never seen the movie at all. But they'll just register it automatically as a great movie because, well, politically speaking, we Americans are great at being sheep. So there you have it. So anyway, carry on, my wayward girl. What you got next for me, Cheri?
Okay, the Alien movies.
The Alien movies.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The Alien franchise is fantastic. I think Ripley is one of the great characters of sci-fi ever.
Okay, and I will agree with you hands down on that one. And I don't think it would have been successful without Sigourney Weaver.
I don't think I'm
God,
ready
no.
for this
God, no.
for this new movie that's coming out though.
But let me ask you this: does the Aliens franchise have weak spots?
Yes, of course
Okay.
it does. Everything has weak spots.
Right.
Pretty much everything after the third movie.
Okay. so you and I are pretty much right on dead agreement with the aliens with aliens right there. So that's cool too.
So you didn't like Aliens versus Predator?
You know what? I didn't even see that one. I wrote that one off when I saw the first trailer.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, when I saw the first trailer for Aliens versus Predator, I'm like, not even a chance.
I think I was like 10 when
No.
the movie first came
Yeah,
out.
stop
I
it,
watched
puppy.
Prometheus and I wanted my money back.
I,
I was like,
I think I've seen the
I wanted to
first
kill
one.
myself for having ever watched that movie.
I watched the first
I left angry.
15, 20 minutes of Prometheus, and I had rented it, so I had a DVD, so I was able to peacefully shut it off, pop the DVD back into its case, and go about my business without any real regrets. I loved the visuals of the first few minutes of Prometheus. The ship and the way the
paid
crew
$1
interacted
and
and
I was
everything.
still mad.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
You want your dollar back, right?
I do.
Dolly wants her dollar back.
Hey, that dollar could have got her some chips.
Yeah,
some chips.
I
you go.
can't jump onto the Alien franchise. 'Cause
Really?
That's just not my
Yeah.
take
Is
and
it the
style.
whole alien coming out of the stomach
It's just
thing?
The second one's maybe the best monster movie ever.
I'm with you on that
I'm
one,
not
Billy.
a big monster
They did it better in
movie
Spaceballs.
person fan, that type of thing. It took me forever to see Spaceballs. So
Oh
okay.
no, not again.
So yeah, I think I've seen Alien, but it's not something that I would.
The
go
first
back
Alien was the first movie to genuinely put me behind the couch shaking in fear. And I was 17 or 18 when I finally saw it, too. So let that be a perspective for you. It came out when I was 9. I waited a long time to finally see it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm hands down. I think Aliens. It was probably one of the best action or monster movies ever. But anyway, all right, carry on, my dear.
Okay, and the last one that I'm going to agree with you on is Blade Runner.
Okay.
Which, if we're talking about visuals, if we're talking about evoking a feel